What is up, y'all? Philly Fly Show checking in here, kicking in at Right Way Production Studios, and we are back for another fantastic week. Still got the pen in my hand because I realized I forgot to write something down in my research, and I had to quickly write it down here. What a week. What a week. The Joe Money Show, if you are not watching, had a good four-leg parlay hit last week. Yes, it was all favorites. Yes. It's usually how a parlay goes, is you're picking favorites and adding an underdog on there too. I didn't add any underdogs. I just added the four favorite guys that I thought would win, and all four won. So that was a fire picks for that round of UFC fights. But last week, the UFC Philly Fly Show for the fight night of Gilbert Burns and Mike Malott last week almost was an epic fail. Almost this close. I don't usually review every single fight, but I'm not going to review every single fight on here, but I'm going to review the beginning here. It went wrong, draw, so nothing. Jamie Lynn Horth should have won that fight. She did win that fight. The judges don't know what the bleep show they're doing. That was a robbery. Mitch Raposo fight was called off because of a weight cut or sickness of an Alan Nascimento. And then Daria Zelikova, she got manhandled by Melissa. And Tanner Bozer just got beat up by Gokhan Sarak. That was, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The first 6 fights, 1 draw, 1 off. So 4 of the first fights, losses, just bam. But the Philly Fly Show pulled it on, went 7 for 11. We got the feature prelim right, and then the whole main card right. So that was a fire pick. So this week I got decent picks. I do like this fight night a lot better than last week's, but it isn't as exciting. I do have one complaint since the UFC has went to Paramount this year. It seems like they are overstacking the pay-per-views just a little bit, and it's a little unfortunate for us, but it's also a good way for us to look at the prospects. So we got to look at the bright side on this. Some of these young guys are coming up. Some of these older guys who could compete, but age caught up to them, too many fights or whatever's happening in their life's just not working out. It's also good to see those guys on this card to be gatekeepers and maybe get back into it. You never know. And shout out to my boy Pedro Munoz, who got released from the UFC this week after asking for his release. I didn't even know he was on the UFC roster still. Unfortunate he had to sit out that long, but at least now he can get back in there and get in one of these undercard promotions and maybe be champion or get some really good money. I would love to see him in PFL, but PFL I don't think signs him. PFL's gone a whole totally different route. And that's really all we have about last week. We're going to jump into this week. It's UFC Fight Night. Aljomain Sterling, number 5 ranked in the world versus number 7 ranked in the world. Youssef Zalal. Now, this is going to be a decent fight. That's all I'm going to say about that for the little preview. I am cutting it into time here because over here, if you can't really see, I would turn my camera, but then I'd have to readjust it and everything. But I got the draft on over here. It's about to start. It's almost 7 o'clock, the NFL draft. Cannot wait for it. Yes, my team don't have a pick in the first round. Obviously, you can see who my team is. But we already got the best first round pick with that trade. So that was fire right there. That's all I'm going to say. We're going to jump into the card here because, you know what? It's a fight night. I like to get these done a little faster on the fight night. On here, I do have my... Wow, I almost threw it away. What am I... Oh, in my research here. Wrong paperwork here. I am going to throw this thing because it's all wonky, but... yeah, I also have the Joe Money Show written on the back here, so I'm trying not to reveal the Joe Money Show because I haven't even recorded that yet, technically. I usually record that first because it's a quick 30-second video and I can do it quick, but I decided to do this one first because I want to get it done. We got 13 legs here in this fight night. Let's jump into it. Female fight, strawweight division. Talita Alansar versus Julia Palestri. Now, Julia is a -280 favorite. Talita plus 210 underdog. Talita had a cool, good win on her last belt. She is 3-1-1 in her last 5, 3-1 in the UFC, and on a 2-fight win streak. But her last fight was the one I picked her to win, and she was a big underdog. So that was a fun fight for me to pick. On the other side, Julia, she is 3-2 in her last 5, 2-2 in the UFC, and coming off a KO win over my favorite female fighter, Karolina Kowalkiewicz. And now Karolina needs to hang it up. She's just too old to compete anymore. Needs to hang it up, but she was one of the UFC pioneers, man. I honestly fought one of the best fights against Joanna Jędrzejczyk until Wale Zhang, and Rose Namajunas came into the picture. But that was one of the best female fights ever at that time, and I just loved Karolina. So I just had to give her a shout out, even though I want her to retire. But here we're going to go with Julia in the negative 280. We're not super confident on it just because Talida's last fight, she looks like the real deal. I just think Julia's a little more well-rounded than her, and that's the only thing that's putting my advantage to her and taking her in the negative 280, 1 out of 5 on the confidence level. She can get her hand raised. Match like number 12 here, welterweight male division fight. We get Max Griffin versus Victor Valenzuela. Now, Victor's making his UFC debut. He's a negative 162 favorite over 40-year-old Max Griffin. It's good to see a 40-year-old fighting in here. He is plus 126 for the money line. Now, Max is 2-3 in his last 5, 8-9 in the UFC, and on a 2-fight lose streak. So he really needs a win here if he even wants to keep gatekeeping and making some money while he's at it. While he's 40 years old, fighting in the UFC. Still a great career for Max. Not anything in the elite side, but still a good career for Max. Now, his counterpart is 4-1 in his last 5, 13-4. Making his UFC debut with his record. He's coming off a KO win. So, good win for him on his last one. I'm pretty sure, I don't remember if that was his I think he lost his Dana White Contender Series fight and then won his next fight in one of the lower ranked promotions. It's good to see him get a shot at here. I think he's going to be too much for Max Griffin. I think the young guy will have too much energy and just have to take him out. So, we're going Victor here and taking a negative 162, cashing it to the bank, but only 1 out of 5 on that confidence level that I can get that win. Now, match like number 11 here is a lightweight bout between Francis Marshall and Lucas Brennan. Now, Lucas is a plus 400 underdog, whereas Francis is a negative 620 favorite. Francis, though, is 2-3 in his last 5, 3-3 in the UFC, coming off a big submission win against a guy I didn't think he was going to beat, so that's a good win. Can't remember the guy's name, but I didn't write it down. Some of these guys, I don't write down their stuff because there's some young prospects, and we got to let their careers build up. Lucas, on the other side, is 3-2 in his last 5. He is making his UFC debut. He's got an 11-2 record, and he's on a 2-fight win streak. I just think Francis is going to be way too much for him. France is a negative 620 favorite. The odds makers had this fight right. This is not, you could even put it at and get it up to negative 1,000, and I'd say it's right because Francis is so well-rounded. Great striking and great gas tank. Lucas making his UFC debut, we don't know enough about him. If he can come out and make a splash and beat someone like Francis, though, very, very high up in the prospect rankings because that lightweight division to get in that top 15, that's a brutal spot to get to. So we'll see if Francis can make it. I think he gets a win on Saturday. 3 out of 5 on the confidence level. He can get his hand raised. Now, we'll get to match like number 10 here. It's a flyweight bout. Jafel Fihilo versus Cody Dern. Cody is a plus 430 underdog. Filo is a negative 670 favorite. Again, the odds makers have this at a perfect odds make. It could go up to negative 1,000, and I'm going to accept it because Cody Dern just not there. You'll see why here in a second. Filo is 3-2 in his last 5, 3-2 in the UFC. So his last 5 fights in the UFC is 3-2. That's a decent record to start in the UFC. He's coming off a submission win. Obviously, I'm picking Filo to win this. 3 out of 5 on the confidence level, but this is why. Cody Dern, 1-4 in his last 5, 6-8-1 in the UFC, and on a 4-fight lose streak. If it wasn't a 4-fight lose streak, I wouldn't be so confident in this. But I am super confident. But I'm not going to put a 4 or 5 just for the respect of the flyweights. And we all know what can happen with flyweights. It could be just a whole totally bad weight cut on the other side for Filo and just kill him there. That's not going to happen though because he's a pro. He's winning the fight. 3 out of 5 on the confidence level. He can get his hand raised. Now match like number 9 here is a female bantamweight bout. Number 12th ranked Mayo Buena Silva is putting up her ranking up against Michelle Montago. Now Michelle's a negative 430 favorite, whereas Maya's a plus 300 underdog. Maya can win this fight. There is no doubt about that. I don't think she wins this fight. And here's why. That girl's gas tank, I don't know what happened. I don't know if she got off the nutrition thing, bad weight cuts, or if it's a mental thing. I have no idea. I can't put my hand on it, but that is not the same Mayo Bueno Silva that we saw fight for the title. Now, here's the record for her and why she's a plus 300. 0-4-1 in her last 5, 3-6-2 in her UFC record. 4-fight lose streak since her title shot. I thought this girl was going to be champion or become champion before that title shot. Boy, was I wrong, man. Something's happened, and I don't know what it is. Until she gets a nice win and shows that she's the old Mayo Bueno Silva, I'm not going to pick her to win. And Michelle Monaco, she's an undefeated fighter on the other side at 7-0, 5-0 obviously in her last 5, and 1-0 in the UFC. She's getting her hand raised against Mayo Bueno Silva. Maya can win, and there's no doubt about that. I am putting a 3 out of 5 on the conference level when Michelle gets her hand raised. But if you want to sprinkle, if you're one of those people that does like I call it the $20 theory or the $100 theory. If you have a good bankroll, it's a $100 theory. If you have a low bankroll, it's a $20 or $10 theory. If you are going to throw $20 on Mayo Bueno Silva, I am not going to dog you. I won't even argue you. I would do it. Plus 300. Triple your money quick on a win that she could do. She could. Problem is, if you haven't watched Michelle fight, you wouldn't be confident on it. Michelle gets that win. If Mayo Bueno Silva upsets me, I won't be mad. Like I said, you could bet it on there. I'm not gonna. I wouldn't encourage it, but I would sprinkle. You can always sprinkle on some of these. All right, match like number 8 here. Middleweight division fight in the male division. Jackson McVeigh versus Cedriques Dumas. Now, the UFC is giving him everything they can to make it back into the UFC, actually. Dude's been arrested so many times. On his last thing he was talking about he needs money, or on his last win he was talking about how he needs to get back in there and get wins because he needs money for his legal battles. The dude's just got to get it together, man. I don't know if it's a sports psychologist. I don't know if he's got to, actually spend some real time in jail. I have no idea, but I would like him to get a win in there. They give him somebody in Jackson McVeigh. McVeigh is negative 220 favorite. Dumas plus 168 underdog. McVeigh is 3-2 in his last 5, 0-2 in the UFC. So he was coming in here on a good record. He's been submitted twice in his last 2 UFC fights. I don't see Cedric Dumas submitting him. I see Cedric Dumas beating him up. Now, Cedric on the other side is 1-4 in his last 5, 3-4-1 in the UFC, and coming off a submission loss. He's got the talent. It's if he can put the camp in there. And if he can't put the camp in there because of money situations, his lifestyle thing, this is it, man. This is your last, to me, this is your last chance for me. But I think the UFC is going to be in the same boat, that you don't get a win Saturday, or you don't at least look really good and get upset somehow, you're not coming back for another shot. I don't see them giving him another shot if he loses. But I see Cedric winning this fight. Here's why. Cedric is very well rounded when he's on. He's got very good striking that people underestimate his grappling defense. And McVeigh is a grappler, so he's gonna go in there and try that, and that's when Dumas usually lands a bomb. So that's what I'm gonna lean on. I just think his counter striking is gonna put McVeigh out, and that's what we've seen McVeigh get hit with, a counter strike, and then he gets submitted somehow. So I'm going Cedric Dumas, but it's a fight I would not probably bet. It's again just a sprinkle. I mean, just a sprinkle, unless you want to fade this one on me, because you can fade me if you want to, guys, because it's always a good tell. It's either to roll with him or fade him. It's one or the other. Again, Streak gets to win 1 out of 5 on the conference level. He gets hand raised. I feel like I just lost like 20 pounds of energy there for a second. And we're going to get back into it, guys. We have the featured prelim bout of the evening. It's a middleweight bout again in the male division. Rodolfo Vera, negative 195 money line. Eric Macanino plus 220 underdog. Look, man, I just realized one thing here. really quickly. Vera negative 295 favorite. Eric Montesigo, he is a plus 220 underdog. Sorry, guys, I did not have Channel 5 on here for the draft. And I had to get it switched to the draft quick because that is coming up here really, really soon. I have no idea what time it is right now. Oh, it's coming up soon. So, again, Rodolfo Vera, reset here, guys. Match link number 7, Rodolfo Vera. 3-2 in his last 5, 6-4 in the UFC, and coming off a KO loss to Bo Nickel. Bo Nickel showed me he's got hands in that fight, and to knock out a guy like Rodolfo Vera, very hard to do. Still giving him a shout out for that because that's a good win for him. And then Eric Mocanos, 3-2 in his last 5, 1-2 in the UFC, and coming off a KO loss to Chimaev's old training partner, Serkinayev, I think is how you say it. He looked okay in that fight, but he's got to get a full camp in him. I hope they gave him a real full camp in this one. His plus 220 looks spicy. I wouldn't touch it because Rodolfo Vera, I think, gets back in the win column here on a big way. 3 out of 5 on the comp so he can get his hand raised. And we're going to jump to the main card of the evening, boys and girls, because I kind of slowed that one down when I had to take a drink of water, change the damn channel, and just, things were going haywire there for a second on the podcast. But matchup number 6 here. First fight in the main card. Heavyweight bout between Marcus Bukea and Ryan Spann. Ryan Spann's a plus 124 underdog, whereas Marcus a negative 158 favorite. I do not like this fight at all. I don't know what Ryan Spann's going to show up. Him at heavyweight scares the living crap out of me. Light heavyweight, I didn't mind him, but he was having a hard time getting there, so he moved to heavyweight, and I just don't know if that's the right deal. And Marcus, I don't know what Marcus is going to show up. So Marcus, it's 2-2-1 in his last 5, 0-1-1 in the UFC, coming off a draw. It's just not very exciting right there. And then Ryan Spann, he is 2-3 in his last 5, 8-6 in the UFC, and coming off a submission win. But again, what Ryan Spann are we going to have show up? I'm picking Ryan Spann to win because I think his grappling might be better at heavyweight, but his gas tank and striking is not better at heavyweight. I'd rather see him at light heavyweight. 1 out of 5 on the comp so that he can get his hand raised. Matchup number 5 is a banger fight. Whatever way it goes, we got the 14th ranked bantamweight in Montel Jackson. He is a negative 186 favorite fighting Rayone Barcelos, who is a plus 144 underdog. This is a banger fight to see if Montel's even got it anymore. And Barcelos needs to get in that rankings because he is an elite fighter. Showing why he's an elite fighter in his win streak here. Montel is 4-1 in his last 5, 9-3 in the UFC, and coming off a loss to Davison Figueiredo, which I can't believe Davison Figueiredo beat him, because Davison has not looked the same since that fight at all. He's not looked the same, man. And Rayone is on fire, dude. He 4-1 in his last 5, 10-4 in the UFC, and on a 4-fight win streak and taking out dudes. He had a 4-fight win streak on the dudes he fought. I couldn't even list them off on here on my little sheet of paper. But he's got it. Pick him to win. I'm only going to say 1 out of 5 on the confidence level because Montel Jackson is a really good fighter. So no matter who wins, both of them are elite fighters, and Rayone should be in the rankings, but that's one of the other divisions in the UFC that is such an elite top 15. If you can get in there, you're essentially more like a top 7. Like, that's how deep those divisions are. Match leg number 4 is a bantamweight division fight between Davy Grant and Adrian Luana Martinelli. Now, Adrian's a plus 102 underdog, and Davy is a negative 130 favorite. Davy is 3-2 in his last 5, 8-7 in the UFC, and coming off a submission loss to Charles Jourdain, which is no slouch. And Adrian is making his UFC debut. He's 5-0 in his last 5, 17-1 record. He's on a 15-fight win streak, and I don't see that coming to an end here. Davy Grant is just getting old in the tooth, and I just think the young dog's going to pull it off here. Take that plus 102, cash to the bank, 3 out of 5 on the comp so that he can get his hand raised. Match like number 3 here is a lightweight bout between Rafa Garcia, Alexander Hernandez. This is crazy that neither of these guys are ranked, and then I've seen what division they're in. They're in the lightweight division, so it makes sense there, but that lightweight division is so stacked, man. To have these guys sitting under it, nuts. Hoffa is a plus 104 underdog. Alexander Hernandez, negative 132 favorite. 4-1 in his last 5 for Hoffa, 6-4 in the UFC, and on a 2-fight win streak. His counterpart, 4-1 in his last 5, and Hernandez, 10-7 in the UFC, on a 4-fight win streak, coming off 2 KOs, 2 in there, on Chase Hooper and Diego Ferreira. Those are 2. I get Chase Hooper, him knocking out, but I do not get him knocking out Diego Ferreira. That's how good of Alexander's hands are, because him knocking out Diego Ferreira is just crazy. Both these guys should be ranked, though. Again, top 15 just too deep. Co-main event of the evening is a bantamweight female bout between the number 3 ranked Norma Dumont versus the 11th ranked Jocelyn Edwards. Jocelyn plus 190 underdog, Norma negative 230 favorite. Crazy fight. I like Jocelyn's plus 190 on a little sprinkle, but I'm picking Norma Dumont to win. She's 5-0 in her last 5, 9-2 in the UFC, 6-fight win streak. She just seems to pull it off, and I just think this might be a decision fight. And if it goes to the decision, she wins a point fight. The only way Jocelyn wins is a counter strike. So Norma Dumont gets her hand raised, 3 out of 5 on the comp slip. That happens. And then we get to the main event of the evening, featherweight bout. 5th ranked Aljomain Sterling versus the 7th ranked Youssef Zalal. Zalal's a negative 140 favorite. Aljomain plus 110. If y'all know me, I am classified as an Aljomain hater, but Youssef Zalal is just too well-rounded for Aljomain. Aljomain has a gas tank issue at 145, it seems like. It doesn't seem like he's there the whole time. He's not throwing strikes like he used to at bantamweight. Doing that against a guy like Youssef Zalal, who's super well-rounded, power behind the hands, amazing grappling offense, good grappling defense. Yes, Aljo's grappler too, but Aljo's main thing was that you couldn't grapple him. You had to strike with him, and he's better at it than you. And Youssef and him are at the same level, I think. And the thing that's going to make me pick Youssef Zalal and why I'm thinking he wins is his gas tank is better than Aljomain Sterling. Cash that 140 to the bank, 3 out of 5 on the comp slip. He gets his hand raised. UFC show. Philly Fly Show's checking out for the week in the UFC show. Catch the Joe Money show. Don't miss it. It'll be coming up here shortly too. Peace out and see y'all next week.